Welcome back to Bedtime Myths and Mysteries. Tonight, we're exploring something you've done hundreds of times without thinking. A small gesture, a quiet tap of the knuckles, a phrase spoken almost playfully. But what if knocking on wood was never about luck? What if it was once a conversation, and something might still be listening? Some habits are so small, we never question them. A sentence leaves our mouth, a hope, a fragile boast, a quiet relief, and almost instinctively we reach for the nearest table, the doorframe, the arm of a chair. We knock on wood. We smile. We say it's just superstition. But long before it became a joke, it carried weight. Long before cathedrals, before church bells, before printed books and paved roads, forests were not scenery. They were presence. Vast, breathing structures of bark and shadow. To ancient European cultures, particularly Celtic and Germanic societies, trees were not passive life forms. They were inhabited. Spirits lived within them. The oak was sacred across much of Europe. The Druids performed rites beneath its branches. The tree was believed to bridge realms, its roots reaching into the underworld, its trunk standing in the human world, its branches touching the heavens. To touch a tree was to touch something alive in more ways than one, and to knock was to announce yourself. In many pre-Christian traditions, speaking too confidently about the future was dangerous. To declare that something good would happen risked attracting envy, not only from other people, but from unseen forces. Fate was not stable. Fortune was not guaranteed. Words carried power. So when someone spoke of hope or good luck, they would reach for wood and tap it. The gesture had meaning. It directed the statement into the spirit of the tree, asking for protection. It disguised pride as humility. It said, "I do not claim ownership over this outcome. I acknowledge forces beyond me." It was not luck. It was restraint. As Christianity spread across Europe, the ritual did not disappear. It adapted. Instead of tree spirits, people said they were invoking the protection of the cross. The wood of Christ became the sacred material. Knocking upon wood symbolized seeking divine shelter. The explanation shifted. The action remained. Across Germany, people still say auf Holzklopfen while physically touching wood after speaking of fortune. In parts of Eastern Europe, carved wooden icons were tapped when making promises. In Britain, children were taught to touch wood after boasting. The world changed. The forests thinned. The spirits were renamed or forgotten. But the knock endured. Anthropologists suggest rituals survive when they are small, repeatable, and socially acceptable. Knocking on wood fits perfectly. It takes seconds. It draws no attention. It can be done anywhere. Psychologists offer another explanation. When we speak about uncertain futures, the brain registers vulnerability. Hope creates exposure. A quick ritual, even one we consciously dismiss, reduces anxiety. It creates a sense of action. The nervous system relaxes because something has been done. It is a way to manage uncertainty. But the material itself still matters. Why wood? Wood grows. Wood breathes. Wood carries sap like blood. Even when cut and shaped into furniture, it retains warmth. It feels organic, responsive.
In animist
belief systems, everything held spirit. But trees were especially potent. They lived long lives. They survived storms. They regenerated. They stood as witnesses. When early humans spoke their hopes aloud, the forest listened. Some historians believe knocking on wood also sealed an oath. The tree spirit bore witness. To lie while touching wood risked consequence. The gesture aligned you with something larger than yourself. It was accountability as much as protection. There are parallels beyond Europe. In parts of Central Asia, sacred trees were tied with cloth offerings. In the Middle East, carved wood was touched during blessings. The tree was mediator between human and unseen.
Over
time, industrialization distanced people from forests. Wood became flooring, doors, desks. Yet the instinct persisted. Even today, when we tap laminate or veneer, the symbolism lingers. The action is almost automatic. Things are going well, someone says. Knock, knock. We do not consciously believe a spirit will punish us for optimism. And yet, studies show that time in forests reduces stress hormones. Wood textures calm the nervous system. Exposure to natural environments lowers blood pressure. Our bodies respond to trees in measurable ways. Perhaps what our ancestors framed as spirits, we now understand as biology. Or perhaps both explanations coexist. Imagine standing in a forest thousands of years ago. No electricity, no engines, just wind moving through leaves like whispered speech. You say aloud, "Tomorrow will be good." Would you not feel the need to acknowledge the presence around you? Would you not knock? The act survives because it answers something ancient in us, the desire to balance hope with humility, to speak optimism without inviting correction from fate, to recognize that outcomes are fragile. Whether the mechanism is neurological or mystical, the ritual works because it changes the speaker. It softens certainty. It grounds expectation. It reminds us we are not fully in control. And perhaps that is why it has endured across centuries. It requires nothing elaborate. No altar, no ceremony. Just wood. Just a knock. Just a moment of awareness that the world is larger than our words. The next time your hand reaches for a desk after saying something hopeful, pause. Feel the texture beneath your knuckles. Consider how many generations made the same gesture in forests, in cottages, in stone villages, where trees towered overhead like silent guardians. Perhaps nothing hears you, or perhaps something always has. Some habits are so small, we never question them, but small habits often carry the oldest stories. Tonight, if you hear the quiet knock of wood in your home, a cupboard closing, a table tapped, a door gently struck, consider that you may be participating in something older than churches, older than kings, older than written language, a conversation between humans and trees, between hope and fear, between the spoken word and the listening world. And if you find yourself knocking tomorrow, just once more than usual, listen carefully. If you enjoyed tonight's story, remember to subscribe to Bedtime Myths and Mysteries for more forgotten rituals, hidden folklore, and the quiet traditions still shaping our lives. And the next time you knock on wood, ask yourself who you're really speaking to. Sleep well.